The latest college football rankings have been released. They've been released by ESPN. They're calling it the FPI, Football Power Index National Championship Odds Rankings. Let's read about what it means. Let's go through the list. Let's talk about it because I looked at this list and Georgia's got to play a ton of these schools that the network believes are among the top 20 in the country. This is top teams by FPI National Championship Odds. It shows their projected wins. It shows the percentage chance they think they're going to make the playoff, the percent chance they're going to make the national championship. So let's dive into this. I'll go ahead and read what ESPN's saying real quick about it so we understand a little bit more about what this means. Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. As part of our efforts to keep track of these seismic changes in college football, we're relaunching our FPI ratings and projections for the 2025 season this week. To refresh our memories, and I need to refresh my memory, the FPI is a predictive rating system that estimates each FBS team's strength in points per game relative to the national average on defense, offense, and special teams, making adjustments for starters lost, recruiting talent, and other personnel changes. Those numbers are then plugged into the schedule, and everything is simulated 20,000 times to track each team's odds of winning its conference, making the playoff, and advancing through to the national title. So they are trying to build a very, very, very thorough ranking and predictive model on college football based off that 20,000 simulations, taking in talent lost, recruiting, all that into account. That's pretty detailed. That's pretty up there in terms of the work they're doing. So I think it's worthy of diving into these numbers and looking at what they think about college football. Ryan Curley, as I go through this, I'll tell you what I think about it and give you my comments. My most important comments are that you please, I'm pointing at you, go check out dawgpost.com. We've got deals right now on subscriptions. We've got Preview Magazine in the works. There's just a lot going on. And look, time's ticking. All right, in 2 months, in like exactly 2 months, I'll be heading to Kirby press conferences, and we're beginning to kick off fall camp and all that. So enjoy this time. I'm really itching for football, to be honest. I know. Bear with me for a second. I'll get back to the topic of this video, but I just want to let you know I am itching for football. I'm a big basketball. I'm a hoop head. I'm a huge basketball guy. Some days I might tell you it's my favorite sport. It's the one that I'm best at physically. Out of all of them, working on golf and tennis. But the NBA Finals are still to come, and I am itching for football. I'm really getting the itch for it. All right. Let's run through the rankings very quickly, and then let's get into more details about it. Texas 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Bama 4, Penn State 5, Oregon 6, Clemson 7, Miami 8, 9 Notre Dame, 10 Tennessee, 11 A&M, 12 LSU, 13 Ole Miss, 14 Auburn, 15 Michigan, 16 South Carolina, 17 Oklahoma, 18 SMU, 19 Florida, 20 Kansas State. Saw a lot of SEC teams on that list. I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the 16 SEC teams in the top 20 of these rankings. Nothing to say. Georgia is number 2. It gives them the second highest percent chance to make the college football playoff and to win the national championship. It gives Texas the first. That's what these rankings are based off of. Texas, 83.9% chance to make the college football playoff. And I've got Texas's schedule pulled up, so we'll compare Texas, Georgia, and Alabama, the 3 highest SEC teams on this list accordingly. 22.2% chance that the Longhorns win the national championship. For Georgia, they give them a 78.6% chance, so about 5.3 percentage points lower, and about 4.7 percentage points lower in terms of a national championship at 17.5%. You like that quick math? Learn that at White County, learn that at Georgia, right? Because some of you guys don't think I even went to Georgia. I'm an alum. So that's for the haters. Projected wins for the Dogs, 10.1. That's not the highest on this list. It is the third highest. Texas and Ohio State tied for 10.4 projected wins. And then Penn State at 2 at 10.2. Georgia at 3 for 10.1. Oregon would be next up at 10 flat. For Alabama, they have them ranked 4th, right behind Ohio State. 66.2% chance to make the playoff, 10.4% chance to win it all. Let's look at Texas's schedule. They've got to go to Ohio State week 1. Now, there's a good chance that we enter the 2025 college football season where Texas and Ohio State are the two top-ranked teams in the AP poll. And we're seeing number 1 and number 2 during week 1. I can't remember who plays week 0, but week 1, there's a good chance that's what we see. It's epic. It's going to be a big noon kickoff, in Columbus. Advantage Ohio State in terms of being at home. I think that they're going to be very good teams. I think we're going to see some good quarterback play between Arch Manning and Julian Sayin. The team that wins that game will be ranked number 1 heading into week 2. And these numbers will all change, and these odds will all change. And we'll get an idea of, okay, who's the power at the beginning of the season. So Texas has got to play Ohio State. They get 3 easy ones after that in San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston. The Longhorns don't play their first SEC game until October 4th. They got to go to Florida. That's a tough one. They They got their neutral site against Oklahoma the following week. They go to Kentucky the following week. The following week, they go to Mississippi State. Then Vanderbilt at home, at Georgia, versus Arkansas, versus Texas A&M. So their toughest games at Ohio State, at Florida, at Georgia. That's one of the toughest top 3 games probably in the entire country. I think that the rest of it is manageable, but that is a very tough top 3. You compare that to Georgia's top 3 would be, I think it's up for debate, but Texas at home, Alabama at home, and then let's say a toss-up between at Auburn or at Tennessee. You know what I mean? But Texas has got to play in some big-time environments. They've got a good out-of-conference matchup in Ohio State. Alabama. I think Alabama's got it kind of difficult. At Florida State in that first game, I do favor the Crimson Tide in that 3:30 p.m. kickoff. Florida State was complaining about that one. I thought that was funny. But they host Wisconsin. So they've got 2 big-time non-conference games this year. Not as big as playing Ohio State. They got to go to Georgia. They got to go to South Carolina. They got to go to Auburn. Those are 3 hostile road games. Hosting LSU, hosting Tennessee, going to Missouri. I mean, Alabama's schedule, these are 3 tough schedules between Georgia, Texas, and Alabama. And Georgia and Alabama, and Georgia's playing both of them, so we'll be able to gauge that a little bit. But it's not going to be easy for those top 4 teams, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and Texas, who have very, very difficult roads ahead of them. What I think is interesting about that is those teams are still projected higher percent chance and to potentially be better in terms of this model and the way they're ranking over Penn State, over Oregon, over Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame. Teams that in some of these other rankings are getting ranked ahead of these programs, which to me is very, very interesting. I'm seeing Clemson and Penn State kind of consistently in the top 2 or 3. Why? Why is their percent chance not as good when they don't have to deal with Texas and Bama, or they don't have to deal with Ohio State and South Carolina, or whatever it is? Actually, Clemson's got to deal with South Carolina, and Penn State's got to deal with Ohio State. But from a top-to-bottom schedule, those programs like Notre Dame, Clemson, I'd say Oregon, I scanned their schedule, they just don't have as difficult of a path as what I'm seeing as ESPN's top 4 teams in this FPI. So I do question, what are they learning in these 20,000 simulations? Are they just, like, what is the simulation? I guess I'm curious about that. But look, if you want to see the depth of the conference, 10 through 14 on here are SEC, and then 16, 17, and 19 are SEC. Georgia specifically has to play number 1 Texas on here, number 4 Alabama, number 10 Tennessee, number 13 Ole Miss, number 14 Auburn, and number 19 Florida. The Dogs got it very difficult in terms of the rankings that ESPN is putting out. And look, those teams are going to be top 25 programs anyway. The Dogs have it just as difficult as anyone. I think Texas and Alabama certainly have it. These other SEC programs do. Ohio State dealing with Texas in week 1, that's honestly a test they'll probably be thankful for when November rolls around, when January rolls around, and they're competing for a national title. These big-time programs, I think it's interesting, the ones with the really difficult schedules are given a higher % chance to win it all, according to ESPN's Football Power Index. What do you think about that? Links are below. Appreciate you watching.